I am here with Coach Cyndi Otteson, one of our ACE coaches, really wonderful person, and excited to have a conversation about what you're up to in your coaching business today. So welcome to the Coach Spotlight, Cyndi. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Greg. It's a pleasure and a privilege.
Well, I always love to start these conversations with a question. What are you celebrating right now?
I am celebrating being almost at 50% of my coaching hours needed to get the accreditation with the support of ACE. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
Great. So who do you love working with? Who have you been coaching? Who's your audience?
I work with progressive candidates running for office, as well as progressive founders, and activists and women fighting the patriarchy.
I love that. And what is it that you really want for the people that you coach?
I want them to experience clarity on the unique contributions and gifts that they have, and clarity in being able to contribute that in a way so that we can build a more equitable world.
So great. Is there any examples you can share from a client recently really having a great result out of your support?
Sure. I've, for the last year and a half and for the last 6 months, I have been coaching 2 progressive candidates running for office. Times when running for office, which were up to really big things, there are many challenges that come up. And so being able to navigate things that come up on a campaign, you're often doing 100 things at once. And just seeing really the opportunity to align and give a space where candidates and people can really experience that clarity and honing their inner wisdom. We all have it. And it's usually what we call a gut instinct. And so when you're running a campaign, there's tons of noise and people who give feedback, and being able to be crystal clear on what it is that you want to achieve and the vision that you have for your campaign, for the world that you're creating, and being able to support candidates to do that and really equip them with, tools, support, so that they can see that no matter what they're doing each day, they're taking consistent action toward their goals. So just being able to help people to overcome overwhelm has been really incredible. And it's something that I wish that I had when I was running for office.
Yeah, great. And I've coached a couple congressional candidates through brand new Congress. And so I know exactly what you mean. It's one of the biggest things people can endeavor to do. And they found coaching so helpful. So I'm so glad you're doing that work. Yeah, you mentioned, your own experience as a candidate and wishing you had that support. So can you speak a little bit to your experience on your journey and how coaching has really affected your own personal journey?
Yeah, I've always loved supporting people, being in community and connection with others. On my own personal journey, I ran for office in 2019 to 2020. And not even 2 weeks after the election had ended, we were in the pandemic, worldwide shutdown. And so there was a lot of fogginess around what I would do next, how I could continue to be in the movement and creating a more equitable world. And one of my mentor coaches now, Allison Roser, and 𝒏𝒅𝒊, they had really spearheaded a workshop through Moms in Office, which is a progressive PAC that had supported me and other moms for office running across the nation, and had held a workshop of, life's blueprint workshop. So you ran for office. What do you want to do next? And just being in community and connection with other moms across was incredible. Often running for office is really isolating. People really feel alone in their journey, even if they're not, it feels that way. And so just looking them up after, I loved the space they created so that I could look and see what would be next for me. So I could see that even if I didn't technically win, that the movement in my heart, the vision that I have, continued. So I looked them up, saw that they were training with ACE, and looked into the first course, which is the foundational training course now. Took that course, really loved it, felt like it really helped me. And so over the course of the last 9 months, I was clear before, but I've really become crystal clear, not in just what I'm here to do, but how I can really support others in a way that we can be together. And then within that context, really show up in a way that we're proud of and consistently act. So that's been a really wonderful part of my personal journey. And now that I am coaching others and also getting my certification, it just kind of rounded out what I know I'm here to do and aligned the time that I have, and so that I can really spend that time contributing in the biggest way that I can.
I love that story. That's great to see some of our other ACE coaches being kind of the entry point to this whole framework.
Yeah, they didn't even mention it. I just looked them up and I was like, what is this? What is the
Oh,
space they've created? How do I get more of it? So that was incredible.
Great. Well, you were a coach for about 1.5 years before you got trained with the Academy for Coaching Excellence. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Good. So you're speaking a little bit to, why you decided to get trained more, but what difference did it make in your coaching after getting trained here, and kind of anything else you want to add about why you made that decision when you're already coaching to go through this whole robust program?
Yeah. I mean, I had already been a coach, and what I learned through coming to the Academy was really the foundational framework, the ethics, the coaching kind of code of conduct. And what I know now is what I was doing before was more of a hybrid of coaching and consulting, and coaching in the context of ACE is really about supporting people so that they can look and see for themselves, and get really clear and hone that inner voice of wisdom, and knowing that as a coach, as part of our code of ethics, we really can't have an agenda for people. We really want, to support people to do and experience the things that they want to do. And I think before with coaching, it was more of what I was doing, maybe was a little more consulting, which is I kind of tell you based on my own lived experience, what I think you should do. And I do offer consulting, but that's now very separate from the coaching that I do. And coaching has been incredible because it really is in partnership with somebody to really support them, so that when we have the ability to look and see for ourselves, what we're experiencing, if there's any kind of roadblocks, we all have our greatest hits. That was when it became really clear that that's really a coach. So I often think of even like a personal trainer that's there, kind of showing you what you can do, but they're not moving your body. You're really moving your body, and you have to really look and see, because if you don't do that, it may not be authentic. So you can have somebody tell you what to do, but if it's not something that sits in your heart, you may fall off of that prescribed list of things to do. So that was very clear. So I was able to really kind of separate the services I was able to provide, and when, my expertise is needed versus when my support is needed, to partner and create a space together where people can take action consistently with support.
I love that. Really speaking to uh, the heart of what it is to be a coach.
Yeah.
You're very passionate about civic engagement. You ran for office. I know this is a big part of what you're up to. How has that shaped and shown up in your coaching journey?
I think it really aligns well with kind of the principles of what ACE stands for, which is we support people to take consistent action toward their goals. And with civic engagement, I think one of the biggest ways that I have experienced personal growth in my own life is to really leverage the pain and the grief that we are experiencing as we navigate this world, especially today, and it continues. And so really that was the catalyst to see that I can sit and feel angry, I can feel heartbroken, and there's space for that. But then what shifts is really when you are able to focus on what you're able to contribute to others and being engaged, showing up, even if it's in your block, in your neighborhood, that there's a real opportunity to leverage that anger, frustration, hurt into being in community and connection and of service to others. And that has been the guiding light that has really helped me to get clear when, especially in times where it feels, really heavy. So it's been wonderful to see how that then translates. I really started in my neighborhood as local as possible and continue to serve my neighborhood and my community. And that translates in coaching because we really do focus on being able to take consistent action. So it's in the action that has been the most meaningful and the formula for how we show up every day and how we continue in this fight, in this movement to really create the world that we know is possible.
So powerful to hear you speak about that. And I can just tell how important it is to the impact you're empowering as a coach. And really, especially right now, when action is what is needed.
Yeah.
Say a little about strength through vulnerability. I know strength through being vulnerable is a theme in your coaching. So say a little about that.
Yeah. I think vulnerability is a superpower. It's something that I'm often told that I do well. It's not something I often thought about until people had told me. But I think it really allows, vulnerability to me is a heart opening moment where you are able to be who you truly are. And in that, there's an invitation for others to see that you are, through sharing and processing your emotions and what you're feeling, there's an invitation for people to connect with you. And through that, I think that there's strength, so much strength in that, because you're not hiding behind anything, and you're really just in that heart opening moment, and something really magical happens. And there's always, somebody that feels that energy, that feels that connection. And I think when we focus on the connection that we have with each other, it's really emanates the love that we have, that we're here to seek and experience together. So in my experience, when people are vulnerable, it really allows for abundance, to really come through and connect with others.
That's beautiful. What advice would you give to past Cyndi just considering becoming a coach?
I think it would just be enjoy every moment. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful. In every moment where there was doubt or worry, to just be like, hey, just keep going. And I feel that strongly for everyone is when you're rooted in your purpose, when you can get really clear on what you want and on what you stand for, the principles that you care about. Yeah, I would probably say just it's going to be great. You'll see.
Love it. And anything else you might add to people who might be watching this who are considering their own career as a coach?
Yeah, I'd say explore. I'd say be curious. Take the foundational course with ACE and see, if that's a fit for you. And then you can move on from there. That's what I did. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be a coach. It was, I love this space that these two coaches created. And I came into the foundational course, and then I loved that space and the people in that course, and then continued. And at every moment, it was really a gut check of just leaning into places where I felt joy and leaning into places where I felt uplifted, and always being in that, for me, just really constantly moving toward places where I knew I was pushing through my growth edges, where I could really kind of come through and learn some things so that I could continue to contribute in an even more, and with a greater capacity and greater clarity.
Love it. I'm sure that's so useful to anyone who's watching this, who's considering coaching. Great starting place. Anything else you'd like to add? Is there, if there were one takeaway that people got out of watching this, anything else that you want to give folks before we wrap up?
I think that you, whoever is watching this, that you there on the other side of this, watching this recording, are a miracle in and of itself and a huge contribution. And I take that and I credit that to Adrienne Maree Brown with her book, Emergent Strategy, where she really says, do you know how much of a contribution that you are just in being here to yourself, to the world, and to the people around you. So that's what I would say.
I love it. That's so great. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, maybe see if they want to work with you as a coach or hire you, how do they find you?
You would find me at Cyndi Otteson. That's CYNDI, like Cyndi Lauper, and my last name, OTTESON. And you can find me also on my website at cindyottesson.com.
Perfect. And we'll put those in the comments as well.
Awesome.
Great. Well, thank you so much. This has been really a delight to spend this time with you, Cyndi. It's always a pleasure hearing and inspiring hearing you talk about what you're so passionate about. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much, Greg. It was so fun. Thank you.